Okay, Senator Coates.
Well, thank you, Madam Chairman. Standing in for Congressman Brady, who couldn't be here, so it gives me an opportunity to make an opening statement, which I'm going to ask unanimous consent to include in the record so that we can get to our witnesses. Let me make a couple of quick points here.
Okay.
It's clear that there's consensus that infrastructure is crumbling all across America. Governor Rendell, you are one of the original colonies, so you have some of the oldest infrastructure, but even as we work across the Midwest and into the West, we see falling bridges, we see crumbling infrastructure, we see pipes bursting underground. So clearly, there's a consensus that we need to go forward and deal with this. We all know that we're in this current fiscal dilemma of what comes first, almost a chicken and egg type of situation where we know we need to spend upwards of $1 trillion and maybe even more dollars to address this over a period of time to address this infrastructure problem. We know that in doing so, it potentially could promote some stimulus to the economy. However, we also realize that we simply are not liquid. We have to borrow funds in order to accomplish this. And in doing so, we then just fuel more debt, more deficit, which requires more interest payments. And when we put that together with the projected increase in entitlement spending with the retirement of the baby boom generation, we realize that that pot of money that falls in the discretionary category, that which we have authority over how to address, and where to spend it and establish priorities, that continues to squeeze. In fact, the projections are that in 10 years from now, 90% of our entire budget will be eaten up through interest and mandatory spending. So no matter how earnest we are and how committed we are to address a whole number of issues that fall in that discretionary category, not to mention health research, not to mention education, not to mention any number of things that are priorities for members of Congress, we have to understand the realities of the fiscal situation we're in. So just a comment here relative to the fact that we do need to address this issue if we're going to go forward with a number of the plans that have been proposed, which have some real significance. In my state of Indiana, we've had to, under a previous governor, and then I think carried on by this governor, we've had to turn to public-private partnerships. That has been very successful for us by leasing our toll road for a 75-year lease. We've been able to accomplish some very significant improvements in our transportation infrastructure. These so-called P3s, public-private partnerships, may be ways in which we can work around some of the fiscal limitations that we have. I just might note, just from entering into that in just one area through our toll road, by the end of the year 2012 in Indiana, we have completed 65 roadway projects. 19 others were accelerated. We've completed 375 new centerline miles, 48 new or reconstructed interchanges, 5,030 preservation center line miles, accounting for 40% of the state's inventory, and rehabilitated or replaced 720 bridges. So this may point a way into which we can address more immediately some of our infrastructure problems. I'm anxious to hear from the panel, Madam Chairman, as to what their thoughts are on this and anything else they want to bring to us. So thank you very much for chairing this committee, and we look forward to the testimony of the witnesses.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for being